Hello, how are you this evening? I know I am late. A very good reason. Today, now they say there's supposed to be some pretty bad weather tomorrow. So today, I went over to my sister's and we did our weekly mahjong game. It is so much fun. But sometimes games are very serious in our overall health. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Tonight's going to be really short because I was really committed to being here with you tonight. At the same time, I was having such a lovely afternoon. I didn't have time to prepare, and I think when you take someone's time, you should make what you give them in return worthwhile. So we're just going to do a little quickie tonight. But that hasn't crossed my path in 100 years. All right, so it's Groundhog Day today. And it seems that Punxutawny Phil has predicted there will be 6 more weeks of winter. Did that bother you? Especially with this whatever may be coming up in the next couple days. We'll just have to see what it's like. So I wanted to show you. I went personally to see. I went to Punxutawny, where Punxutawny Phil is from. And I put a roaming rock by the foot of his statue. Roaming rocks are lots of fun. You have a website where wherever you put rocks, when someone finds them, you ask them to take a picture of themselves when they pick up the rock and a picture of themselves wherever they leave the rock, and then the next person picks it up. It's another way that games are so much fun. That's what I kind of want to talk about today is the importance of pleasure and happiness, which pleasure and happiness are not the same thing. Did you know that? Yep. Pleasure is something that is passing. It comes and it goes. But happiness is always there. And we want to cultivate a consciousness of happiness. And you probably can't see this. I'm real disappointed, but this is my Punxutawny Phil wine glass. There's no wine in it because I already had my wine, and I did not have cheese in the afternoon. I didn't have cheese and crackers because I wound up so late that I had just my dinner, and I had my wine with my dinner. So I have a 1 glass discipline with my wine, but it says Punxutawny Groundhog Day, Pennsylvania. I recommend going to Punxutawny. I had a great time there. I have a little sip. Okay. It is also Tuesday. No, I know you're saying, no, it's Wednesday. Well, it's 2TWOS Day because it is 2 February 2nd, 2022. All those twos. That makes it Tuesday. Now, of course, I always have this joke about God keeping me humble whenever I kind of step over the line of maybe a tad bit of self-importance or arrogance. So this morning, during my prayer time, I was looking up the date and the scripture and everything from my little devotional. And I look and I said, oh, it's Tuesday, Tuesday. And I thought I was such a smarty pants. I posted one of those like blaring pictures that said, Happy Tuesday, 2-2-22, and I followed it with Tuesday. It's Wednesday. So I had to go back. Well, I deleted it. Okay, that's probably why you didn't see it. I posted that in one place, and then I posted this one. So I thought that was pretty funny. God's gonna keep you humble, and that's a good thing. Man, imagine if God didn't keep us humble, we'd be walking around with all this arrogance going on all the time. We wouldn't be our true selves. We wouldn't have integrity. And that's a little bit of a something about Groundhog Day. Remember the movie? And this kind of fits with what we were talking about last night, about that lump under the rug. It's the same kind of thing about unaddressed issues. But if you remember the Bill Murray movie from, I don't know how long ago it was, but it was a long time. You know, I was watching this show on TV, and they were talking about people finding strange stuff in their yard. And they told a story about a man who bought a house, and he wasn't even unpacked yet. And someone was talking to him about, I heard rumors about there being something in your yard, buried in your yard. And they gave him kind of a sketchy thing, a little circle and a square thing. And he's thinking, what could it be? Could it be some kind of hidden treasure? Could it be whatever? Well, it was a bomb shelter. And he said, anybody that's close to my age, sit down, okay? Sit down. This is so you don't get hurt if you fall over. He said it's from way back in the 60s. Way back in the 60s, to me, that was yesterday. What about you? Yeah, it didn't seem that long ago, did it? But if we look at 60, 70, 80, 90, 2000, 10, 20, holy guacamole, how did that happen? And, we look at, okay, so every one of these many years from the time we were born, there was a Groundhog Day. So what that says to me, like from the movie, that Bill Murray kept experiencing Groundhog Day the same and the same. And at first, he wasn't even like, he didn't even get it, didn't even realize it. Then he realized something was going on. And then he realized he was doing the same thing over and over and tried to change it. But he tried to change it in the outer, when the real change that needs to be made is in the inner. If you've ever said, why is this happening to me again? I mean, don't you think about that with the world we live in? How many times have we said, why is this happening again? Why is this happening again? And in our own lives, why can't we overcome war? Why can't we overcome racism? Why can't we overcome our own stupid mistakes? Why? Because we got to get the message. We've got to get what the cause we're setting forth, what that is. so we can change it, so we can stop the effect that we don't like. Likewise, that the things we like, the good results we get, we have to say, why is that happening to me again? And the answer truly is, you must have done something right. Now, when I say you must have done something right, I don't mean you did something and God wants to, to give you a reward for it. It's because you did the work you needed to do that changed the way you lived that brought the change. The Apostle Paul, I believe, called himself a fool for Christ. And what he was saying is, I am willing to share, he was saying, I'm willing to share my mistakes with you that maybe you won't make them. So all the times I tell on myself that I am giving you an example that you might look at and say to yourself, did I ever do that? Did I make that mistake? Am I still making that mistake? Or you may find that you say, what is she talking about? I didn't make that mistake. I never made. And you may not have. But I guarantee if you're on this planet, you've got something to learn. And just like Bill Murray in Groundhog Day, the clue is to find out what needs to change. And basically it's you. Okay, I'm gonna embarrass myself. I'm gonna make myself a fool for Christ so that maybe you may learn on a bigger level. Here's the thing. When I was a kid, I did so good in school. Now, we didn't have A's and D's and B's and C's and F's. We had 3 gradings. It was either H, which was honorable, S, which was satisfactory, or U, which was unsatisfactory. All through elementary school, I was a star. I couldn't wait to get my report card and see all those H's. And then the remarks the teacher would say. Well, I have to confess, I'm one of those kids that the teacher said, she talks too much. Maybe if you try not to talk so much, you'll do even better. Well, between 6th grade and 7th grade, I had a dramatic change. In that period of time, I discovered boys. Whoa! Then that she talks too much thing became, if only she would apply herself. And there weren't by that time we shifted out of elementary school and we now had A, B, C, D, and F. And what happened was my focus had gone from the inner passion for learning and it had gone to finding my worth in whether or not boys liked me. I'm sorry, my friends. I'm being perfectly honest with you. And so I always wanted to look good. And I couldn't bear if anyone picked on me. Now, there was a little caveat here that kind of rained on my parade. I last checked, the greatest height I have achieved, which I probably have lost a little bit of, the tallest I ever got was 4'10.5". Well, when you're 4'10.5" and you weigh 85 pounds and you have big teeth, look, you know what? Let's be honest. I have big teeth. You're kind of become a target grist for the humor mill, that a lot of people, you know, I'd get on the bus going home from junior high school, and the kids would go, "Peanuts, They called me Peanuts. They just pipsqueak. They called me everything. And what happened was I forgot who I was. And I tried to prove who I was by human standards for many years. And that's not the truth of my being, because I was so busy trying to prove myself by human standards that I did not reach the degree of fulfillment I could have. Oh, please, I'm very happy with where I've come from then, because I've done a lot of learning, so don't misunderstand me. It'd just be really good if you have these kind of issues and you don't have to go that far to find yourself. And I talked about it just the other day. It took me a long time to realize I am unique. I am not weird. So if you're thinking you're weird, remember, you are not weird. You are unique. And here, I want to give a plug here. Okay, so if I upset you, I'm sorry. Hang up. Tune out if you don't like what I'm saying. But I have to tell you from the truth. Back in the days, up to the 60s, 70s, people went to church a lot. I mean, church was where you had special events, special services, social events, and you were raised, because you were raised in the church, you were raised with a certain standard of morals. Now, did I break those rules ever? I bent them, if nothing else. But it was the strong, I'm sorry, I'm going to use the word, that was my strong religious background that kept me from going off the rails in my desire to be approved and accepted by people. And it is the same thing. So I'm not saying we've got to go back to a tight traditional faith. What I'm saying is that having a base, now my base was Catholic, and I did not agree with a lot of it, and I do not agree with a lot of it. And when I found my spiritual path, which is unity, it's literally like fireworks going off in my head. Walked into my first Unity church and I went, I am home. I am home. Finally, someone was teaching what I believed in my heart and soul all the while. And it did not take away from the validity of any other church, because the other churches I understood on a new metaphysical level, which was not one of division, but one of unity, oneness. I am so glad if you've never taken a class in world religions, boy, are you missing out something. I wish all these people today that had all their opinions and all their prejudices would take a world religions class, and they would see that one essence of the one spirit underneath it all. So I found unity at about 40 years old. And one of the first and most wonderful and important things I learned is I am a beautiful and beloved child of God, mighty to attract my good. Whoa! And guess what? So are you. So are you. You are a beautiful and beloved child of good, mighty to attract your good. If you're not attracting that good, there's every possibility the groundhog is going to go back into the cave every year for decades to come, as long as you're walking on this planet, and maybe should you come back to walk on it again and again. You know, it's like I always say to people, please take care of the planet. You know what? We may wind up back here to clean up our mess, right? So what is the reason that the groundhog is bringing you around every year? And, you know, some people, and I know, I live in Connecticut, and we just had a very bad storm, and I will say that we were very fortunate, didn't lose electricity or anything. People north of us in Massachusetts, New Hampshire, they got slammed. And we keep them in prayer all the time for going through that. But anything in your life where you feel now, oh, and let me just change. I've got to also share perfectly honestly. Am I doing all the things I'm supposed to be doing right now? Do I have frustrations? I do. I wish I want to. I wish I want to take more time to do my writing. I mean, I've got novels inside of me that are aching to get out, that are languishing on the back burner of my mind, you know, but in the meantime, I'm also doing things that are very meaningful to me. So often we do little meaningful things every day, and they seem so trivial that we put them on, you know, we don't even realize that we did something good that day. Every day, if you ground yourself to do the best, ground yourself, groundhog. If you groundhog yourself. And what does the groundhog see when he comes out? What does that groundhog see when he comes out? He sees his shadow. Woohoo! Your shadow is what's scaring you from being all you can be. My shadow is what, in a way, scares me. But there's another thing I learned, and someday I'll share that in a class. It's from a class, a series that I took one time by Lori Beth Jones. She has a book and a workbook, and it's called The Path. And it's establishing your mission, vision, values, and core beliefs. And when I looked at my life, I prayed about it, I thought about it, I realized everything I'd been doing in my life, I saw the causes and effects that brought me to where I am today. And you know what I found out? I found out that I am doing ministry the way that is touching hearts and lives, one at a time, two at a time. Sometimes I never know, but that's mine. And that's what's working for me. One-on-one. I have a favorite reading. You can look it up. It's called I Stand by the Door. And the essence of the reading says that I stand by the door waiting for people that come by and are looking for the door. And my passion and my ministry is to take their hand and put it on the doorknob. I don't have to be famous. I don't have to be rich. One-on-one. My mission is to know, love, and serve God, which is all good, as I inspire others to do likewise. It doesn't look like church. It doesn't look like holy, holy. But it couldn't be any more holy than striving for wholeness. Isn't that what we all want? Wholeness? I never got out of Groundhog Day. Let me see if there's anything else I wanted to share with you today. Oh, yeah. On the National Day calendar, aside from the fact that it's Groundhog Day, did you know groundhogs are only found in North America? How do you like that? That's a fact. So we have something here in my area of North America where we have groundhogs and so many people don't. I wonder if they're related to prairie dogs. If anybody knows, let me know. Groundhogs are also called woodchucks. But this is what's something that touched my heart in such a way. I'm asking you to take what I'm telling you into your heart and to ponder it, because it's got a message for us. On this day, in 1925, a week of mushing 615 miles in brutal conditions, 20 drivers and their dogs safely relayed a delivery of 300,000 doses of diphtheria serum to Nome, Alaska. They went with dog sleds. 615 miles in horrible conditions to get this diphtheria serum to the people. We are so blessed. We've got the vaccines. We've got the strategy and the tips. What's going to happen next pandemic? Will we leave behind something that people can learn from? That we don't have to have that Groundhog Day experience forever? I thought that was pretty powerful. So I thank you for being with me tonight. And I want you to have a wonderful day. And, Tishy update. She's doing okay. She is currently, you probably heard her crying a couple minutes ago. She's currently in her kitty cave. She's eating a little. She's drinking some water. She's sleeping a lot. She is still blind. She still has her kidney failure. She cannot jump up and down on the bed. But that's okay. I'm here for her. And she's always here for me with her unconditional love. And I got unconditional love for you too. And if you got some for me, I'll need all I can get. So you have a wonderful evening and a great tomorrow. I will see you next time. Tomorrow, another day. We shall see. In the meantime, be good to each other. Bye-bye.